All right, everybody. I'm back with another edition of MLB preseason predictions for the year 2020. And for this video, I'm going to consider this a quote-unquote bonus video. Someone who's subscribed to me on YouTube wanted to get my thoughts on the team that they follow. And I asked this individual what team or teams it is that they like or follow, and this person said, "I'm a big fan of the New York Mets. Would you mind making a video giving your 2 cents and predictions on the team?" And I said, "No problem." So this video is for you, the individual who shall remain anonymous. Anyway, prediction number one, I have it in two different categories, I'll call it. So technically I have 21 predictions. 1A, if I can call it that. Rick Porcello, formerly of my Boston Red Sox. I still can't believe he's gone, but that's neither here nor there. Rick Porcello is the 5th starter on the New York Mets. And prediction 1B is that he ends up beating out Michael Wacha. Excuse me. The New York Mets are gambling on 2 pitchers, and although they aren't complete answers to the bullpen issues that the team is having right now, I understand that, but both men provide a slight improvement on the rotation. So, when you have Edwin Diaz, Jake DeGrom, Noah Syndergaard, and the other guy, what's his name? Jay Reese Familia. I don't know why his name just came to my mind. But anyway, if you're able to set up your talent roster like that for the pitching lineup, Michael Wacha, especially with the addition of him, we all know what he did when he was in St. Louis, and as a fan of the Chicago Cubs, I can say this much: I'm glad he's out of St. Louis and he's on another team. I don't need to worry about having to see him face the Cubs every other couple games every year. So that's good enough for me. Prediction number 2. Dylan Betances. I want to say he was with the New York Yankees last year, if I'm not mistaken. He was recently signed by the Mets. He's a well-known reliever, and he remains a bit of a question mark due to his injury-plagued season last year. But I think he bounces back in 2020. He'll look like the player that he's always been, and I think it'll leave many people wondering as far as the New York Mets did, or the New York Yankees, excuse me. Did the New York Yankees make a mistake in cutting him? Should they have kept him? Should they have kept him? Should they not have traded him? Should they not have let him go? All this is in hindsight now, but it leaves you to wonder. And this is coming from a guy who hates the New York Yankees with a passion. I can't stand them. Prediction number 3, Jacob DeGrom finishes with an ERA under 3.00 for the 3rd straight year. His ERA in 2019 was 2.44 or something of that nature. I want to say it was 2.44. And his ERA in 2018 was 1.70. So if it can be if he can keep it at 2.99 or less, then that'll be another prediction that comes to pass. Prediction number 4, Ahmed Rosario takes the biggest step forward of any other New York Met. Now, I know you have Pete Alonso, you have Noah Syndergaard, you have Robinson Cano, but I think Ahmed Rosario puts up some good numbers this year. I don't even remember what position he plays, but I think he puts up some good numbers. Speaking of Pete Alonso, prediction number 5. Pete Alonso doesn't hit 53 home runs. Although he'll still be extremely productive at the plate, I don't think he's going to reach the mid-50s as far as home runs. If you were to put the figurative gun to the back of my head and say over or under the number of home runs that Pete Alonso hits at 53, over or under. I would take the under. I mean, if he makes 53 or more, then I say congratulations, but I don't think he's going to get that far. That's just me, though. Prediction number 6. In the last 2 seasons, the month of June has been a nightmare for the New York Mets. I think in 2019 they only won 10 games throughout the month of June, and in 2018 I think they only won 5. So my prediction is the New York Mets improve on their record in the month of June, but I think they hit a rough patch in the month of May. How rough that'll be, I don't know. I don't even know what their schedule looks like, but will the month of May and the month of June be about the same for the Mets? Will they have about the same record, or slightly improve, or be even worse? I don't know. Prediction number 7. There it is. I predict that 4 different New York Mets players have their jersey ripped off following a walk-off hit. I first saw a video of this on YouTube sometime last year. Pete Alonso in 2019 ripped off Michael Conforto's jersey following a walk-off hit, and Alonso eventually ended up losing his after a walk-off victory. So maybe it's become a newfound ritual for the team. I have no idea. So I think it'll be, maybe several other players have that thing happen too. You get the jersey torn off and you look like you just got out of a bar fight or a street fight or something like that, like in an action movie. It'll be a sight to see. The more walk-off victories and the more walk-off hits that happen, the more players lose their jerseys. So let's find out. Prediction number 8. Steve Cohen negotiates a majority stake in the New York Mets. The last I heard or read, there was an article saying that Alex Rodriguez of the New York Yankees might even consider stock in the team. I don't know. I don't know exactly how any of that stuff works or what exactly that situation is. So, maybe for all I know, the deal's getting finalized right now and is going to be announced first thing in the morning. John Q, billionaire, or someone of that nature, just purchased majority stake in the following team. So, but right now, any speculation on the timeline or the impact of Stephen Cohen, if in the event he ends up signing, is just that, speculation. But if in the event he ends up signing on by the end of this year, I think his influence will be both felt and seen in some way. Prediction number 9. The Los Angeles Angels, or Anaheim Angels, whatever they're called now. Their pitching staff gets under the skin of the New York Mets. The Mets travel to Anaheim for 3 games in the month of August, I believe. And that's where they face the pitching staff led by Mickey Callaway, or Mickey Callaway, excuse me. What was I thinking his name was Mikey? Anyway, I believe Mickey Callahan was the former manager of the Mets at one point in time, but now he's a pitching coach under Joe Madden, who used to be with my Chicago Cubs. So maybe Mickey Callaway's got a couple of tricks up his sleeve, and he'll put them both. He'll put them all to good use when the time comes to face off against his former team. But I'm not sure. Prediction number 10: Robinson Cano stays healthy for 2020, or at least the vast majority of it. The difference here is that the Mets are going to be able to give him regular rest by plugging in guys, like Jeff McNeil or Jed Lowry in his place. Say what you want to about Robinson Cano. Robinson Cano can still go. I don't remember how old he is, but he's going to go until the wheels fall off. If he were to announce retirement right now, not that he would, but he's he's been around for quite a while, and he'll continue to go as long as he's able to. And the way I see it, I wish him all the best. Prediction number 11: Noah Syndergaard. He's been candid when talking about trade rumors and the frustration that comes along with them, and I can't say I blame him. It's easy to see why no one would want their name thrown around like this, but given professional sports, it's inevitable. Unfortunately for him, rumors like this will continue for the rest of the season. But such is the territory when the New York Mets face several problems, or several situations. A, Pete Alonso and Jake DeGrom are pretty much untouchable. 2, trading Thor would seemingly net the Mets a huge package. D, it might come back to bite the Mets in hindsight. And 5, if things end up falling apart, it'll leave you literally scratching your head and shaking your head, going, "What the heck did we just see?" So you don't want to run the risk of something like that potentially happening on your hands. And the way I see it, I don't think Syndergaard's going anywhere. I mean, the only way he leaves the New York Mets is if he asks for his release and he ends up walking in free agency sometime in the future. That's the only way I see him leaving. But to make a long story short, Thor's not going anywhere. Prediction number 12: the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies had a rivalry going from start to finish with many heated moments. And from what I've heard and seen on the news and on YouTube and reading various articles coming up, like on MLB.com, it was fun watching some of those heated matches unfold. That may be last, but in 2020, the Mets and the Braves will have more than a couple of tense moments. Also, I think you might see a couple of flare-ups between the Mets and the Braves more so than the Mets and the Phillies. Will it be anything major or spectacular like how you used to see baseball fights back in the 70s or the 80s? I don't think so, but there have been plenty of good one over the years. Plenty of great fight involving plenty of great teams. So let's see how many fights unfold over or under. I couldn't even give you a number for that one, but be that as it may. Where was I? Oh, yeah, number 13. 3 players from the New York Mets are selected to the All-Star game. One of them will probably be someone you didn't even expect to make the team at the start of spring training. Who that would be, I'm not sure, but if I had to say 3 players right now for the All-Star game, I'd probably say Jonas Cespedes, Noah Syndergaard, and Pete Alonso. If I had to say 3 right now off the top of my head, I think that's who it would be. Prediction number 14: the New York Mets face Garrett Cole once this year. He ended up leaving my Houston Astros, which I still can't believe we let him walk. But that being said, again, another story for another time. Like I said about when Rick Porcello left the Red Sox. I think Garrett Cole shuts the Mets down over 7 innings in what ought to be the start of a great matchup in the Mets-Yankees rivalry. And I think it also emphasizes the need for the Mets to open up the checkbook if/when Steve Cohen takes over. So, a marquee matchup probably on Sunday Night Baseball or Monday Night Baseball with the Yankees and the Mets. Garrett Cole versus maybe Jake DeGrom. I could see that. Number 15, the New York Mets acquire a pitcher to back up Wilson Ramos before opening day. Now, I know it's only in the middle of February. We still have a way to go, but I don't think they're going to make a trade. I don't think they're going to make a trade for a big name marquee player like that. Like putting together a package for Nolan Arenado and going out to get the likes of Starling Marte, for example. I don't think that's going to happen either. But the way I see it, the bigger the moves, the better. And if they come, they occur at the deadline. So, I can't picture Starling Marte going to the New York Mets. But on the other hand, stranger things have happened. I mean, look at Ken Griffey Jr. wearing the number 24 for my Chicago White Sox, for example. I never thought I would ever see that, but that's meant to be, I guess. Prediction number 16. In his first full season in the big leagues, Jeff McNeil hits more than .3118 for a batting average. That's what he had last year. And he's coming off an injury, and I think he'll top the mark in 2020, further surprising people who originally thought he'd never even make it to this level, or let alone succeed. So if Jeff McNeil is able to move past whatever that injury history was, I don't even remember what it was. I think it was an arm or something. And if he's able to surpass his .318 batting average, then good for him. Another Pete Alonso prediction. Number 17, Pete Alonso leads the New York Mets in home runs. I know that's not a very bold one, I understand, but it's the best one I've got right now. Let's see. Number 18, the New York Mets are in a wild card spot. This one's going to be too close to call, but if the New York Mets could continue to iron out a couple moves on their roster and do what they can to try and get the playoffs, I say you deserved it. You worked that hard, you scratched, clawed, and fought to get this far. Now that you're in the postseason, you have a few more games on your schedule. But the thing being, for me, last year they behaved like they believed they were already contenders, but we just need to iron out a couple of things, and we'll see what happens. But other than that, we're pretty much already contenders, was the mindset going into last year. And I think 2020 is the year that things turn around for them. If they're able to maybe make a few more big name acquisitions and keep up with that pace, then they just might make the playoffs for the first time in another couple of years. Let's see, number 19, I believe my prediction was. Yeah, spot number 19. 19, where are you? Excuse me. Let's see. Yes, spot number 19. I apologize if this takes a little while, but I'm trying to find my notes here, and I finally found them. Here we go. Let's see. Number 19. Here we go. Yoenis Cespedes is ready to rock and roll in the year 2020. He renegotiated his contract and he has tons of incentives, but on the flip side, he's still rehabbing from last year's surgeries, eliminate calcification and bone spurs in both of his heels, which I can only imagine how much that had to have hurt. Yoenis Cespedes has appeared in just 119 games over the last 2 years, and if I remember correctly, in 2017, I think he missed some time due to quad strains and hamstring injuries, which I can only imagine how much that had to have hurt also. But if Cespedes wants to get a leg up on the competition and put his best foot forward, this just might be the season to do so. And just as long as he's at 100%, I think he'll make the big leap. Number 20, the final prediction. Edwin Diaz and Jeurys Familia are huge factors in how the bullpen pans out. Especially with the New York Mets, they're banking on these guys too. Edwin Diaz is only 25, and he's coming off the worst season of his career. At least as far as last year went, because he was regarded as, if not one of the best closers in baseball. Going into 2019, he was probably somewhere in the top 5 or the top 10. But instead, he had a career high of 5.59 ERA, along with career highs in hits, with 58 and home runs with 15. While Familia, on the other hand, his ERA of 5.70 was the second highest of his career, outside of his 5.85 ERA in 2012, when he appeared in only 8 games. But I think J. Reese Familia's biggest issue in 2019 was his command. He walked a career high of 42 batters, and much like Edwin Diaz, he was supposed to have a major role in the bullpen, but in his case, it was supposed to be as a setup guy. But that didn't particularly last long because of his struggles. But both of his struggles in 2019 were costly to the New York Mets, and you have to wonder in the year 2020, will they bounce back? I believe so. Should they bounce back in 2020 and rebound? Given the talent that's on the bullpen right now for the New York Mets, this bullpen, in my opinion, has the potential to be one of the best in baseball. Maybe a top 10 or a top 15. But spring training hasn't even started yet. And on the other hand, it's also so difficult to project how a bullpen performs in a season because of inconsistencies by your relief pitchers every year. We're going to find out a lot about the Mets bullpen in spring training. I know they say don't put much stock into the overall record, who wins, who loses, what the final score is, but if you're looking to make some moves as far as helping out in pitching, for example, for the New York Mets, see who all else you have in your farm system. Who all else can you maybe make a trade for? Who can you sign in free agency? Give it a chance. See what happens. But if there's one thing that the Mets season in 2019 taught us, it's this: you never know what you'll get out of relief pitchers during the regular season. So, that being said, talk to you guys later. And if in the event or events you haven't already, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to me on YouTube, and whatever other forms of media I have on my profile page. I have links that connect me to one social media platform and or the other. But mostly on YouTube and Instagram. So, stay tuned for future videos, and within the next day or two, follow me on social media. Excuse me, and give a thumbs up, post a comment, let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys when I catch you. Have a good one. Take care.